And all our lectures in second language from the Estonian Academy of Security Science. So now we'll hear how they combine content and language in professional foreign language courses in their institution.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good to see you here. So in our talk, many of the topics actually come together. We have discussed here and in the earlier sessions, so lots of development-minded, future-oriented, learner-centered people here. So we'll also touch upon motivation and collaboration, learner-centeredness, so I think those things here. So we are going to introduce to you our language learning model. You can call it language learning model 2.5, for example, which is already pretty innovative. And we will then also discuss how and why we're going to move towards model 3.0, which is very exciting. And so our aim here is to give you some understanding of the great things we're doing. Also, we focus on a type of learning that motivates our learners most based on the feedback and what we see in the classroom. And then we'll present some challenges and then conclude how we're moving towards this next next level. So at the Academy of Security Sciences, we teach all kinds of law enforcement professionals. We teach police officers, rescue officers, tax and customs, bodyguard officers. Yeah, and then prison officers. And we also have a master's program. And our language learning center, teaches all of those, and we teach English and Russian as the foreign language then. We are really learner-centered, and we don't really use textbooks. We have lots of autonomy among our lecturers and teachers, that we can choose how we're going to teach this information, present the information, and help and support our learners. And we basically create the learning content pretty much ourselves based on what the employer wants eventually. So as you can see here, the center is the aim, like communication fluency in a foreign language. So this is what we're aiming at. And we do that through general language courses a little bit, then tandem learning, language for specific purposes, ICLHE, so integrated content and language learning. So we're going to use this abbreviation a lot. And then English as the medium of instruction a little bit. So this one we don't have Russian for Russian. And with all this, we're moving towards the new language learning model. And as we're going to talk about this, focusing on teaching English to police officers. So we will go on with this. Tiina will together.
Yeah, so when our students come to the university, they are not actually expected to know any foreign languages, but they are expected to achieve level B1 for Russian at the end of the studies and B2 in English. So why B1 in Russian and B2 in English? So in Estonia, the population has quite a big portion of Russian speakers. So police officers need to interact with them. So B1 is like the work language or the language they use with people. So besides Estonian, but in English, they also are expected to do research and participate in international cooperation. So that is why there are different levels. But yeah, as I said, when they come, they are not expected to know much. But in Estonia, as it appears, school leavers have generally like B1, B2 in English already, but some don't study Russian at all. So what we do is that we first start by offering them support courses, so they could really come to the professional language courses on some kind of B or near B level. So in Russian we start with beginners, and in English with lower intermediate. Okay. But yeah, so as we said, that we try to be student-centered and innovative. There are also integrated lessons, so content and language integrated lessons. That then means that they normally take place in an authentic or semi-authentic environment. And in those lessons, content teachers and language teachers are together. And as you can see, the number of those lessons is different also. So on higher education level, there are 18 integrated lessons in English, but 48 in Russian. This for the same reason that the lessons, integrated lessons, are really practical. So they practice the things they would later to do at the work. And as a lot of that happens in Russian, so they need to do that there a lot. But here we also, you can see here also numbers for vocational training, and these are a lot lower. This for the reason that their study period is a lot shorter, and in English they really don't have any lessons. So there is only one subject where they practice some, but there are no official lessons. And in Russian, they also only need to reach the lower intermediate level. So this is that. But then, yes, those integrated lessons. So this misdemeanor proceedings and the commencing of criminal proceedings is the name of a course or a module where they then practice these things. And integrated lessons come in only at the later phase of the course, when they have already mastered their skills and have the knowledge that they need. So this year then takes place in a dormitory, so on our school premises. The dormitory then represents a block of flats or apartment building, something like that. And students are divided into groups, or they are assigned roles. So who are going to play the police officers, who are offenders, neighbors, passers-by, whatnot. And the observers might get involved during the session as well. So it really depends on the content lecturers. But how it then happens is that the students who are acting as police pair, or patrol pair, yeah, they receive a call from the control room saying that there is a disturbance, please go. Then they go, they first meet with the caller, they again try to find out what's going on, and only then when they go to the offenders, it appears that they don't speak Estonian, but they then either speak Russian or English. And then it goes as it would normally go in that kind of a case when they are really working. So they need to solve the problem. They need to make sure that everything is safe, this disturbance is eliminated, and everybody can live their lives as they normally do. And yeah, before what I forgot was that before the integrated lessons, students have not had their English lessons yet, so professional English, because this happens in the second year, but they will have their English in the third year. So how do they know what to do then? So at the moment, we have solved the situation so that we have prepared vocabulary lists, and they just get the lists before the lesson, they study the words and are expected to use it like that. Russian studies have finished by then, but they still are reminded some things then. And now I would like to give word to our third colleague who is online, Jelena.
So can you hear me?
Yes.
So greetings from Estonia, from me also. And the second big topic of our integrated lessons is traffic violations. And these classes are usually held outside or in the garage. The activity lasts approximately 20 minutes per group. There are usually 3 teachers involved, the language teacher, English or Russian, and 2 specialty teachers, and they observe the proceedings and the security tactics. And as Tiina said before, students, before the activity, they take the specialty courses in Russian, but not in English. So they are provided with a vocabulary list compiled by language and specialty lecturers. So how it looks like. Our specialty lectures divide students into groups: traffic offenders, patrol pair, and observers. The patrol pair is provided with information about the offender, for example, speeding, and they stop the car and need to carry out the activities that they would normally do in such a case. And the lecturers pay attention on conducting the activities correctly and using polite and clear language. And students have to fill in a report and explain explain the report to the offender. Also, the report papers state offenders' rights and obligations also in English and Russian. It's legalist that not all the people understand this language. And after that, the patrol pair is expected to explain the whole report to the offender in simple and polite language. And at the end of the activity, all the lecturers give the feedback. The next important topic of our integrated lessons is victim interview. These classes are usually held in a specially equipped room. There is an audio system and a screen, broadcasting images and sound from the interrogation room to the classroom. The activity lasts approximately 45 minutes per group. There are 2 teachers involved, the language teacher, English or Russian, and a specialty lecturer who teaches offense proceedings. Before the activity, maybe a few days before the lesson, the language teacher sends some materials to repeat or to review with some words and phrases. The activity is also carried out in groups. Each group receives interrogation reports to fill in. And the specialty teacher gives the situation to be acted out, but he gives only basic information to make the situation as realistic as possible. For example, a man was mugged on the street. He has minor injuries and wants to file a report. One person plays the role of the victim. Usually it's a foreigner, I mean Russian or English. The other 2 are investigators on duty. And the task is to interview the victim following all the necessary procedures, to obtain all information to initiate criminal proceedings, and provide information about what is going to happen next. And other groups also fill in the report forms, and after the interview is finished, the language teacher provides the feedback, and then the specialty teacher checks that the report forms are filled in correctly, and also gives feedback and feed forward. And students must later submit corrected report forms.
Yeah, just not all of those integrated lessons are so active and physical. And there is a lot of action. So some can be just international cooperation. They have to write memos. Also, we go to the content lesson, so the language teachers go there. And so now where the motivation comes in and how it's sort of associated or connected with those integrated content and language lessons is that they are most motivated in these. So who of us is it us? Sorry, Jelena, who will talk about?
Yes, exactly. That was mine. Yeah. So in order to improve and develop the language learning and instruction system, we have conducted a survey in Police and Border Guard College. And here we introduce you some findings from the survey following police cadets internship in 2023. First, second, and third year cadets filled in the survey, which included questions about their internship, but also 8 questions about their experience with foreign languages. The language questions addressed their perception of how they managed with their languages and how their language studies so far had supported them. And the most important finding, especially from the cadets' perspective, is that they had to use Russian more than English during their internship, although most had some contact with both languages. On the other hand, they emphasized their Russian language level is lower than their English level. And the feedback analysis showed that students consider content and language integrated lessons highly valuable. They emphasized that the classes were an excellent preparation for their internship, and where they had to use foreign languages to conduct different work-related duties. And students highly appreciated the presence of both the specialty and language lectures. They were also highly motivated to do well both in terms of procedure and the foreign language. And also the cadets value the clear connection between a foreign language and work during these lessons. And the importance of integrated lessons is visible in both English and Russian, but for opposite reasons. As the level of English is generally higher, cadets value very specific vocabulary taught together with a specialty teacher. As Russian is generally more difficult for our cadets, they benefit a lot from repeated training of using professional language.
Yeah. Exactly. Everything does not go too smoothly, and as we just heard before, cooperation is important. But yeah, what we are struggling with is that specialty lecturers and language lecturers cooperate mostly on personal contact level. So if you know somebody, then you meet up with them, him or her, and then do something. But it's rather chaotic. So in order to improve that, we have initiated a new project with Estonian Aviation Academy, Finnish Border Guard and Coast Guard Academy, and Vilnius University to develop a model or module how to organize this cooperation better so that, let's say, new lecturers who come would understand better how to work together on a shared aim. And as I said before, we are moving towards new language learning model. And what we are trying to do is that, as we said, that sometimes the integrated lessons come before the language, language lessons. So what we want to do is that we want to extend the language learning period by increasing the number of integrated lessons and
sort of spreading
Yeah.
them out all over the studies and not just being just here and here, but sort of everywhere and even more integrated.
Exactly, but this can only be done in English, not in Russian, because the students' level of English is higher, but they still need more support in Russian.
Yeah, so basically this all leads us to the language learning model with the help of feedback, focus on professional language, and also collaboration. Yeah, so thank you very much. I hope you found it interesting.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's very interesting to hear how you work, your practical approach to language learning in for students that are a little bit different than my students. And
Yeah.
I think, really, I think we have a lot to learn from seeing how things are done in different fields.
Yeah.
We have 3 minutes for a question, 4 minutes, so.
Hi, I was just wondering if you have any intercultural infused lessons there too, in particular when the police is dealing with women versus men, young kid versus older people. Is anything, not to put more on your plate, because you're doing wonderfully. I think you got the
Yeah, thank you.
responses.
It's really to the point, and
I
they
think they do.
yeah they do have, but it's more focused on religion, I think. I say different religions,
And actually, they do.
but
have
not
to-
so much.
Yeah, not,
Yeah,
we don't.
we don't do it. So this is done by police college, like by the academy. But yeah, I think I absolutely actually think that there could be more of it.
More expansion
But this
there.
is not always. Yeah, it becomes very specific concerning the language. If you think about language.
And they're absolutely motivated because it's like you said, you know, the company or the police station, you know, whatever is asking them to do this training and elevate that level.
Yeah,
of people, like,
Yeah, and they become highly motivated in learning the language when they do their work placement. So when they come back from work placement, they understand then that how much they actually need to learn. So it is a little bit unfortunate
Yeah.
in a way, because half their studies may have already, passed.